taking a page out of Nancy's book, I guess I should know my audience. Are you all entrepreneurs or run small businesses? Are most of you Brooklyn-based? And B2B or B2C or a nice mix? Your digital photography, adult industry, web design, a competitor. Business to business or business to consumer. She was talking a lot about retail and consumer, Stonyfield Farms, things like that. My business is web design as well, and the marketing is a little bit different because it's mostly professional services and it's business to business. And one of the things that I've done to market our company is find myself in a room like this, talking to people like you and getting exposure, which is something that you could consider, as well as what Nancy said, getting exposure by winning awards, entering contests. It's a very different type of marketing than getting a slogan or a big banner ad. But a little bit of background. I'm a product of the dot-com bubble here in New York. I worked at an agency back in the 90s called Razorfish, and then they grew really big, and I left before it all collapsed, and I started a web design company with my wife. But we also live in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and started 2 retail businesses with a partner, a cheese shop and a coffee shop. And we didn't go take courses in marketing or customer service or customer retention. We learned through trial and error how to deliver a great experience and retain customers. And we have kind of a unique experience because we're doing it both B2C with on the retail level with people in our community selling them coffee and cheese, as well as B2B working for large and small companies professionally for web service and web design. We've grown over 10 years to the point where we can boast that we do work for National Geographic and Scholastic and the Kennedy Center. We did the New World Trade Center website. But we've also done a lot of local websites and a lot of pro bono websites for nonprofits in the area. We do the Downtown Brooklyn Partnerships website. We're doing work with BRIC, Arts Media Brooklyn, and BCAT and Celebrate Brooklyn. And we've really tried to use that as a marketing tool as well to kind of show that we're a good citizen and that we're interested in our community. And I think it's been very powerful for our message and our marketing message and customer service. And it's not traditional marketing, it's more our community role and being a good corporate citizen. So I prepared a few slides just to go over our experience and my personal take on customer service. As far as I'm concerned, customer service is really a balance of product, price, and customer service. And I think a lot of people are imbalanced. You'll find a lot of companies where they focus so much on the product and they're not really concerned about the people and the experience when people are purchasing the product, whether it's at a cash register or whether it's calling up the 1-800 number and getting a voice prompt instead of a human, and others who are not so concerned on the product, but they're just too concerned on the customer experience. I think you need a good balance. And what we've learned is that with our cheese shop, which by the way, for the green movement, we happen to be by circumstance and somewhat intentionally now part of the whole slow food, local food movement, and we've gotten quite a bit of press in the New York Times about that because there's a number of small businesses in Brooklyn that are getting recognition. And what we found is that as much as we put a lot of that energy into the quality of our product and have a great reputation for that, we started to get a negative reputation for being snooty about cheese. And we had to fight that. People come into the shop, it's very intimidating because we don't carry any industrially processed cheeses. We only carry small artisanal farmstead cheeses, and the people behind the counter really know a lot about it. And people started blogging about the experience at the cheese shop, and there were some negative reviews that came up. So it was an interesting lesson for us on how to invest and spend some time in making sure that the people behind the counter really know the difference between what we call foodies, people who really know about food and will test you when you come in the store, versus tourists who are just coming in, they've heard about it in a magazine, versus the local community who comes in and they think we just gouge people and charge really expensive, we're just taking money from yuppies in the neighborhood, which is not at all the case. We have to educate the consumer and teach them that the product that we have, even though it might have the same name as something you can get in Whole Foods or somewhere else, is not at all the same product. And like Nancy was saying, we can point to the cows that made that product and what grass they ate and what the season was like and all sorts of other things. So We found ourselves retraining our staff to spend a little bit more time on the customer service, and now we can proudly say that we invest as much time in the customer experience as we do in the quality of the product, and that shift has helped get our reputation for customer service on track. And if you want to look at where your shift is, and if there is an imbalance between product and customer service, just look at where your money is being spent. If it's all going to product development and product, and none of it's really on hiring people who are dealing with customers, then there might be an imbalance. It might be an indication of that. The basic principles of customer service I don't think have changed over the years, and if you go to school and learn about it, I think they're all going to come to the same conclusions. There's just a few things you need to keep in mind for customer service. Listen is one of the most important things. I think it's astounding how many people don't listen. They just get up on a soapbox and start preaching about their product. Our web design service, the very first thing we do is listen. We've established a whole process where we call it listen, think, create, deliver. The first thing we do is we bring our whole team in and we just listen. We try to find out, we get under the hood, find out what your business is, what it's doing, really understand things from your perspective, and I think it's made a huge difference in our reputation. You need to keep your service memorable, do something different. You need to really show that you care. That's also been very challenging for us because I'm an absentee owner. I'm not behind the counter at the coffee shop or the cheese shop. My main business is our web design agency, and I'm there 9 to 5 every day, and I meet with a manager that we have running the coffee shop and another one running the cheese shop. And one of the things that we've been criticized about whenever there's a problem with customer service, immediately what you'll see on Yelp.com or other places is, oh, obviously the owners don't care. And that's one of the most painful comments to read. And we've had to trip over ourselves to show that the owner cares and put up signs saying, if you have a problem, here's my name, contact me directly. We really do care. Whatever way you can, if you're not in front of the customer, if you have other people as ambassadors for you, you have to find ways to show that the people who own the business actually do care. You also need to make it personal. I think there's a tendency to rely on technology which is very impersonal. And if you're using outsourced call centers or whatever it is you're using, that's one of the most impersonal experiences you can have. If you're a small business, you have a real competitive edge over large industry because by your very nature, you're going to be a lot more personal. The customer service experience will be personal, and you should invest extra energy in making it personal. Give people your phone number, let them know who you are, let them know that you care. Even if you're afraid that you're going to get phone calls all the time. I think I was talking about that with you the other day. It's remarkable. You could publish your phone number out there and people instantly get a psychological reading of confidence, and they don't necessarily pick up the phone and call you in the middle of the night. They just like knowing that there is somebody that they can call, and you'd be surprised your phone's not going to ring all the time. And you can use social media to get that level of personal touch as well, letting people communicate with you via Twitter and blogs and other things. And then the last one I think you hear in marketing school all the time is wow, having a wow factor, doing something different. I heard Tony from, I can't remember the guy's last name, but from the guy who founded Zappos speak at South by Southwest, this music festival and interactive festival this year in Austin, Texas. And their wow factor is that they'll surprise upgrade people to overnight shipping. And people don't even, it's just psychologically, it's such a great experience and takeaway that they instantly connect with this brand, Zappos, because they got like an extra, something they didn't expect, a little bit of over delivery. And we always try to find a way to do that. Even in the interactive, we might be over budget, but we'll still try to give them a little bit extra just so that they're like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. And I think it makes a huge difference with customer retention. So how do we do it? Our interactive agency, as I mentioned, we've honed a process, and we just break it down into 4 steps: listen, think, create, and deliver. It's a very personal experience. When we pitch a project, we go in and we say the founders of the company are going to be personally invested in your project. We have an extended team, but we'll be there. We give out our phone number. We tell them any problems, you call me. We put a date in their calendar to call at certain points throughout the project and just say, hey, how's everything going? Whether it's going well or not, just the fact that I pick up the phone a couple of months into the project and say, hey, I just want to check in, how's our team doing? They love it. It really resonates. And then I think that is testament to why over the years, over 10 years, our company has grown. We now have 20 people, and we've never done any traditional marketing. It's all word of mouth and referral. And that's part of the customer service experience.